Hi, I'm Lucas, and I have a story to tell. Behind me on the wall it says, "Have passion for what we do within our business." Where am I? I'm at Dahl Toyota, right here in Winona. And I want to tell you about a guy I met named Andrew Dahl. I could tell you about the Toyota shop, the Chevy shop. I could tell you about all the different people here. But there's one man that gave me something that nobody else here gave me. He gave me grace. He gave me undeserved, unmerited, unearned favor. And I can't tell you why. I can tell you that the only people I see give grace like this are the people that follow Jesus. And Andrew did that. He did that for me. He did that in my life. So I have a story that I want to share with you. I started about 2 years ago looking for a Suburban for my family of 8. We had already had a Suburban. It was getting old. And I went to his facility up in La Crosse, and his representative sold me a vehicle. But there was a problem. There was oil dripping out the bottom. I had already signed all the paperwork, and we went in one last inspection, and I looked under the vehicle and drip. I'm like, we got to get this fixed. And we shook hands and said, he said, I'll get that taken care of for you. We don't want to send a vehicle out that's leaking oil. And so I shook hands and we agreed. And when I came back, he said he changed the seal, and away we went. We drove it away. Long story short, over the next year and a half, I still had a drip. And I was able to bring it back, not to La Crosse, but to my home city here in Winona, to the facility here. And they looked at it and said, yep, we can still see it. And we changed another seal, and still it didn't fix it. And they didn't charge me anything to do this. They looked at it, and I took it back, and still it was consuming oil, and it was leaking oil in my driveway. And we checked things. And the long story short is they couldn't spot exactly what was causing the issue until one day my vehicle just stopped running. I was pulling into a parking lot and it just died, and it wouldn't start again. And so I had it towed to Dahl here in Winona. And they looked at it and said, yep, it's a huge seal. We're going to have to replace this big job. It's going to be thousands of dollars, and it's going to be on me because it's been over a year since I bought the vehicle. I went through each person one by one. The person that I started with had said they would take care of the leak. And he said, there's nothing I can do. So I went to his supervisor, and he said, I hear what you're saying, and I know what's happened, but we're so far out, there's really isn't much I can do either. And this happened over about a month and a half of me trying to talk to all of these people and get this issue worked out. This all happened right at the start of the pandemic. It was probably a year ago now, last February, when my vehicle died. As the vehicle sat here and they figured it out, I left it here and I waited. And I waited for them to respond, and the ones that could tried, and I eventually got to one of the top level guys here in Winona. And the next person to talk to would have been Andrew himself. And I didn't have to talk to Andrew. I didn't have to get there, because he had trained his people well enough that when I got to this man, he looked at the situation and he said, yeah, we'll take care of it. We'll get this fixed. And he did. And they went in and they started to fix it. And you know what happened? They found out that the whole engine was shot. It had literally broke the whole thing. So I looked at him and I talked to him and I said, so what are we going to do? And he said, we're going to replace the engine for you. So he did that for me. And they put a whole different engine in it. And they gave me the vehicle back. And still at this point, it was no cost to me. Now, technically speaking, they didn't have to do that. I didn't sign a contract that said they would do that. I didn't have any legal right to say that it was his fault or my fault. It was on me. And I brought it to Dahl, and they took care of me. And the reason I waited, the reason I kept pushing, the reason I kept pressing was that one day I shook Andrew Dahl's hand at one of those Chamber of Commerce events that was hosted here. And I met Andrew and I shook his hand and he said, if you ever need anything, you just let me know. And I took him at his word because I thought it was genuine. At the end of all of this, they finally got everything done. They fixed my vehicle and I never had to talk to Andrew. And after it was all said and done and the vehicle was back in my possession, free and clear, I received a phone call from Andrew Dahl. And he said, he just talked to me. He was real with me. I thanked him for what he had done. I thanked him for taking care of me. And I knew at that moment that this statement right behind me was 100% true. They have passion for what we do within this place, within our business. So Andrew Dahl, thank you for who you are. Thank you for showing me and my family some grace. Thank you for walking like Jesus walked and caring about the people here in this town. I appreciate you and I bless you and I pray blessing on this place. You are an awesome individual and you have created something amazing here. So here's to you and here's to those who need to know that Andrew Dahl stands for something different. And this is my testimony. This is my testament saying Andrew Dahl does it different.